How's it going, my truant people? Dr. Slacking, the Slacking Doctor, back on Pokemon Showdown for Week 1 of Season 2 of the ABC, that is the Associated Battle Community. That is the league that I co-commission with my boy Nico, aka Pokemon Trainer Hakeem, one of my best friends, one of my first friends here in the draft community. You guys know and love Nico by now, I'm sure. We are back for Season 2. Hopefully you guys have seen the draft analysis at this point. I haven't recorded it yet, but hopefully you guys have seen that before you see this. Hopefully you guys understand that this was a points-based league this season, that it's split into 2 conferences, and that the playoffs are pretty much kept separate until a grand final where the winner of each conference's playoffs go against each other head-to-head to decide who is the grand champion of the ABC of our now 24-man league, which is incredible that in just over a year that I've been part of the community, through people like Nico, I now am co-commissioner of a league which has 24 coaches in it. It's just crazy. So I'm so excited to be here for Week 1, and I could not ask for a better opponent to go up against Week 1, because Week 1 we go up against my man Kenneth. And hopefully you guys know Kenneth by now. We played him Week 2 in the PEBA off-season. We played him in OWL. We played him in the ABC Little Cup off-season, I believe. We may have played him more than that, I'm not sure, but I think we've played him 3 times at this point. Oh, we played him in the ABC Season 1, and I just absolutely love playing this man. He always brings absolute heat. Last season in the ABC, he swept me with Z Hypnosis, Tail Glow, Circuitry, at a point where I was fairly confident I'd won the game, but that's Kenneth. And this season, he drafted some unbelievable Pokemon. So let me run you guys through his draft. And this is the order that he drafted it in, I believe, which just makes it so much more exciting. Round 1, he picked up Arcanine. Good Pokemon. Not usually a round 1 pick, but hey, it's a great fire type. Pretty much the only reliable fire type with recovery. Yes, you have things like Talonflame and Moltres, but primarily I think Arcanine is the best bulky fire type in the format. Then round 2, he picks up Delibird. Wild. Spike Setter, Rapid Spinner, Defogger as well, I believe. Super cool Pokemon, but when have you ever seen Delibird in draft format? Round 3, he picks up Zoroark. Pretty cool Pokemon with the illusion ability. Pretty hard to prep for and hard to go up against. Can be very, very scary. But, you know, we're on a weird draft here. Arcanine, Power, Delibird, fascinating. Zoroark, Power. Round 4, my man picks up Delcatty. Never seen that used on the ladder, in PU, anything, let alone in draft format. Round 5, he picks up Go-Go. The big version of Skiddo the Christmas Kid. I love that he picked up Go-Go. Round 6, he picks up Sawsbuck. Round 7, Wobbuffet. Round 8, Quillfish. Round 9, Galvantula. Round 10, Zygarde 10%. And round 11, the last pick of the draft for him, Mega Mawile. One of those expensive mons that we unbanned for this draft, which hopefully I told you guys about in the team builder. Now, if you ask me, that is sheer lunacy. You have things like Wobbuffet, which you never see drafted, but genuinely are a problem to prep for. Mega Mawile, which is an absolute powerhouse, one of the best Pokemon on any team in the league. To things like Delcatty and Delibird, which you just never ever see, and you have no idea what they're going to do, but I hope he pulls them off during the season. So with all that in mind, and also I should say his Z users are Zoroark, Delibird, Delcatty, Sawsbuck, Go-Goat. Because he drafted such cheap Pokemon, he was able to have, 5 Z captains, which is crazy. So trying to prep for Z on this, there was just no point. I didn't even really worry about it. I knew what things got access to Z. I knew that Delcatty's normalized didn't affect Z moves, so it could have coverage that way. These were the kind of things I looked at, but ultimately I didn't prep too hard for any one Z move because I couldn't predict any one Z move. So moving on, let's talk about what we did prep for. Looking at this team, these are the 6 mons we brought, which hopefully you can see. By the way, shout out to my man 2-Bit Crow. I always forget to do this. Shout out to my man 2-Bit Crow for these awesome graphics, because I forgot to say, which I'm sure I said in the draft analysis, I am now the coach of the Bowland Bovines. We are no longer the Lake District Spirits because of that, because I cannot say the Lake District Spirits. I always get it wrong. So we are now the Bowland Bovines, and hopefully I can say that. Hopefully everyone else can say that, because I've been called the Lake City District, the District Lake Spirits, just about everything but the Lake District Spirits. So hopefully this way, the Bowland Bovines is something I can say and other coaches can say when they go up against me. So the Lake District Spirits will be back potentially for other leagues, for side leagues, for more Mimi kind of leagues that I'm planning to do in the future. But for our main competitive focus, we're going to be the Bowland Bovines from now on. So, shout out to Bowland Crow for these awesome graphics, for the new Bowland Bovines logo with that mill tank looking fresh, for the new battle layout with the chat gun and now with my opponent's team, which you guys will see when we jump into the battle. And for my team, which is down below me right now, the 6 that I'm bringing, we have Pamela the Megalopony, Strumpful the Amoongus, Nico the Empoleon, Scrub the Talonflame, Checkmate the Scolipede, and Aquarius the Hydreigon. Now I'm going to run through with exactly what sets we brought, but basically our win condition here was Checkmate, was the Scolipede. We were literally trying to get him into a Checkmate position with Checkmate, where he had no answers to this monster. That was the idea. The whole draft was built around that. So, first things first, we had Megalopony on there. Why? Megalopony brings in the Mega Mawile. Mega Mawile, in my opinion, was his only check to the Scolipede, and it wasn't even a great one. Scolipede potentially could have set up turn 1 and 6-0'd its team if I played it right or got the right matchup. But Pamela did what I needed her to do and wore down the Mawile. So she had Fake Out, Return, Substitute, Baton Pass. Fake Out just to get chip on things like the Wobbuffet, which I could see switching in on me a lot. Return to try and get some big damage on things like the Wobbuffet switching in, protecting a high jump kick, as well to get wear down that Mawile. That Mawile has no recovery, he has no Wish Passes, he has no Z Memento to my knowledge, no Z Parting Shot, no Healing Wish users, nothing like that. So any damage on that Mawile was permanent. That's why we're just running this thing to get Fake Out, Return, if it wants to switch in on us, that kind of thing, to get some chip. We're not running High Jump Kit this week, so I didn't think it was necessary. Substitute was there because we could potentially sub on the Wobbuffet when it was switching in, thinking it could trap us, and if we did that, we could then Baton Pass out as it went for an Encore, trying to Encore us into Substitute. We could Baton Pass out into Checkmate and just win the game. And that was very much the idea, that at some point Megalopony would force a switch. I Substitute, I Baton Pass into Checkmate, I get behind my sub, and if I can, I click SD as my speed boost takes control, but we'll get to that in just a second. Enough speed here to outspeed Zoroark, I think is his fastest mon, which actually meant we could run Adamant as well, which it just increased the chip that we were going to give on Mega Mawile. Next up, our switch into Mega Mawile. What did we want to bring in on that monster, that offensive beast, once Pamela had to switch out? And the answer was Amoongus. Amoongus with Rocky Helmet was able just to keep coming in, taking play roughs for days, taking Iron Heads for days, getting Rocky Helmet chip off, and then pivoting back out into something else, or just synthesizing up, maybe getting a Spore off on it, that kind of thing. Obviously, we just ran max defense on this set. It had one job, and that was to deal with Mega Mawile. So, just max defense, Rocky Helmet, with the regenerator ability, of course, as we say, so that Strumpful can get his health back. Shout out to Strumpful as well. He tends to draft Amoongus, so that's why the Amoongus is called Strumpful. If you can guess why this is called Pamela, then you're probably as old as I am. Moving on, then we have Nico the Empoleon, because he is the emperor of my heart, and that is why he is the Empoleon. But we have Nico the Empoleon. This is our defogger, really. He does have some hazards stacked with the Delibird and Spikes. Stealth Rock on Mega Mawile, maybe something else that I can't think of off the top of my head. T-Spikes and Spikes on Quillfish. So you had quite a lot of hazard access. What's really, really cool about Nico is that with that steel typing, we can switch in on T-Spikes and we don't get Toxics. And I think having a remover, either a Grounded Poison to soak them up, or a defogger that's immune, or a Rapid Spinner that's immune, is really, really cool actually. So I really like that. We're running Sugar Berry for the Zygarde 10%, I believe, so that we can take 1,000 arrows and Ice Beam it. We've also got Skull, Stealth Rock, Defog. Again, max defense, because basically this thing, as I say, wanted to take a 1,000 arrows through the Shuka, wanted to potentially try and fire off some Skulls into Mawile and fish for a burn, and really he just mainly had physical threats on his team. I don't remember anything special that I was particularly worried about. Maybe special Zoroark, but I didn't obviously want to deal with Zoroark too long with this thing anyway. This thing was potential trap bait for the big thing, Wobbuffet. For Wobbuffet. But if we did get trapped by Wobbuffet, we just had to position carefully at the point where it didn't matter if we got trapped by Wobbuffet. Just running Torrent because I felt like we didn't have any physical attacking moves, that's why. So Defiant really wasn't going to be that useful. However, Torrent was pretty nice if we went low to power up our Scolds. Next up we have Scrub. Scrub had a pretty cool set this week. We didn't need to be super fast. We're hitting 363. Is that the same as Pamela? Yeah, pretty much the same. I think we're a speed point higher because it jumps. Yeah, it jumps. So basically, again, we were able to have quite a lot of HP here. 88 HP because the Zoroark's the fastest thing on this draft, which was really nice. We actually have a special attacking Talonflame, which is kind of weird, I guess, in that its attack is not especially high and it's still 7 points higher than its special attack. However, this was a Flame Body set, not a Gale Wing set, and it was just supposed to potentially switch in on things and fish for burns if we needed to. It was more of a defensive set, even though it doesn't come across that way. It was supposed to maybe take a Sucker Punch from Mega Mawile, hopefully get a Flame Body burn, and if not, follow it up with a Flamethrower to wear it down and maybe get a burn there too. Or fire off a Will-O-Wisp was the other option. Basically, we just wanted to get some burns because he has so many physical attackers that it seemed logical to try and do that. U-turn for momentum, and our second, oh no, not Defog, sorry, and our Roost User just for longevity. This thing had a good matchup where it could just roost off on quite a few things as they tried to switch out. So yeah, Scrub was just here for longevity more than anything, just to wear things down and pivot around, get some burns. Next up, our Wincon. Checkmate the Scolipede. Now, this set was supposed to win late game. It could break Mega Mawile, but it didn't really want to have to. It didn't take on Mega Mawile especially well. It didn't appreciate a Sucker Punch. But with Groundinium Z, or Groundium Z Earthquake, it would do a hell of a lot. I think it would Oko non-bulky Mawile, but there was no reason for him to be fast Mawile, so he would have some bulk, meaning we needed some chip on it. And we didn't really want to take a Sucker Punch anyway. Then with Poison Jab and Mega Horn, we pretty much cleaned up the rest of his team. He has a lot of grass types, which I've mentioned. We can just Poison Jab through all of them. We can Mega Horn and the Wobbuffet. The Quillfish dies to an Earthquake. We could just had options. The Arcanine doesn't particularly want to take an Earthquake or a Poison Jab. So we really had options to blow through his team once we'd got enough chip on them. So that's what this is here to do. Jolly hitting 347 again. Not sure. At +1, I'm guessing that outspeeds something potentially Scarfed. I'm not sure. It wouldn't be the Zoroark looking at this. Maybe I'll just have a look at his team again. I'm going to guess it was Zygarde. Or Zygarde faster? Maybe it was Scarf Zoroark I was trying to outspeed and the others speed creep Zygarde 10%. Because I have a feeling Zygarde 10% is about 110 speed. And Zoroark's about 108 speed or something. But anyway, whatever it was, we were trying to outspeed something Scarf here once we got the +1 speed boost. And the idea, as I say, was to get it in behind a sub, click SD and win. Simple as that. Once the speed boosts start rolling, it's just the momentum builds with this thing. In my opinion, Scolipede is known as a speed passer, but we can't pass speed in this league, and it's also known as a spike setter and a T-spike setter. But I think it can do so much more than that, and I want to kind of show that. I know a lot of people think like that. I know I'm not the first person to say, hey, Scolipede's actually a good sweeper. I know everyone knows this. But I don't know, everyone I think underestimates how good this can be, even without speed pass, even without hazard stack. Although we might do that sometimes too. And then last up, we have Aquarius, our Hydreigon. This set was really awesome with Hydreigon. Basically, the idea was that we switched in on Arcanine, so that's why we are a max HP with a little bit in defense, and the Chopal Berry, because the only way that Arcanine could possibly hurt me was a superpower, or a close combat. I think it's close combat, sorry, not superpower. And at that point, I'd fire for bigger Earth Power, and with the minus for death, it would do quite a chunk. So that's why with Chopal Berry, with 4 attacks, Earth Power also hurting Mega Mawile quite a lot. Dark Pulse wearing down Mega Mawile and Draco Meteor just to nuke some other things. And then this set was just like Pamela, was supposed to bring in Mega Mawile. I had 2 things that I really wanted to bring out that Mega Mawile and say, hey, switch into me. Switch into me, and if you're not Mega Evolved, you're going to take a chunk because I am modest max special attack, I am adamant max attack. I don't care if you resist, you don't 4 times resist, so you're really going to take a hit here. And that was the kind of thinking with this team. And if I wanted to be bold and make predictions, I click Earth Power, and then maybe I get even more damage on the Mega Mawile. But yeah, that was the kind of thinking. Draco Meteor was there as a nuke, but I didn't think I'd be clicking it that often. I thought I'd mainly be clicking Dark Pulse and Earth Power, Roost there for longevity. So you can see this team is really, we've got this like bulky core here with Stromful, Nico, Scrub, and Aquarius. Just supposed to wear him down, wear him down, wear him down. And then we have our Baton Pass, a substitute Baton Pass into our setup sweeper. So pretty simple team composition. Not something I do often. You don't often see me set up and sweep, but that was the idea. So let's jump into battle and see exactly how it worked. So here we are in the battle, guys, and we can see exactly what he brought here, and hopefully it's appearing down on the layout down that side. I believe it'll be on the layout, but hopefully it's appearing down on the layout as well. And we can see that he brings the Delibird, the Zoroark, the Arcanine, the Mega Mawile, the Quillfish, and the Wobbuffet. So particular threats here at Team Preview, I'm thinking Wobbuffet, we need to wear that thing down. We need to be careful of it trapping anything that we're going to need long term too early. And Mega Mawile, we definitely need to wear down so that Scolipede can sweep. But ultimately, I'm looking at this and thinking, Delibird dies to a Poison Jab, Zoroark dies to a Poison Jab or a Mega Horn. Arcanine will die to an Earthquake or a Z Earthquake eventually. this thing will die to an Earthquake or a Z-Earthquake. Eventually, this thing dies to an Earthquake, and this thing dies to Mega Horn. So I'm thinking, okay, Scolipede could 6-0 here, potentially. We just need to position it right. So my lead, as I look at this team, is Mega Lopunny. The reason being, I get my Mega Evolution off. I get to make sure that Wobbuffet doesn't trap anything. For example, if I led with Hazard Set with Empoleon, I could get trapped, and that would suck. So Mega Lopunny outspeeds everything on his team, barring Scarfers. We'll get Fake Out, Chip on anything that leads, and we can scout for some sets early on. So we lead with Lopunny here. Pamela's just going to Mega Evolve as we see the Wobbuffet come in, and we think, okay, well, bear in mind this is going to always be Zoroark, but we're just going to fire off a Fake Out because we'll at least find out what's going on. It takes 46%, which I thought was huge until the illusion wears off, and we realize, okay, this is Zoroark. So unless he's Scarf Zoroark, we kill here. He actually doubles out into Quillfish, which suggests to me it's not Scarf Zoroark. He gets the Intimidate off, just trying to take a hit from us. We fire off the return, knowing that we would kill Zoroark, assuming he wasn't Scarf, and I think he wouldn't even Oko us, so I think we could have taken any hit from him. The Quillfish takes around 35% from the return. It's not that much, and I don't want to take any damage on Lopunny that I don't have to, so I just go hard into Strumpful, knowing this thing can't touch me, but he actually makes an interesting double out into Arcanine, which is a really, really nice play on his part. So I just go out into Aquarius, the Hydreigon, and he Flare Blitzes into me. This is what Aquarius is on the team to do. He gets the burn, but it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. And we click Earth Power. If he goes out into Mawile, he takes massive damage, but he does actually have the close combat, which is really, really interesting. But his special defense drop means we do 73%, and the Chopal means we live his close combat. So that was quite nice. Here I decide to switch out into the Amoonguss so that I can get some Rocky Helmet damage on him as he goes for another close combat potentially. I didn't think he would Flare Blitz again, so I was going to go out into Amoonguss. He would get Rocky Helmet damage on the close combat, and then I would switch back into Hydreigon and sack Hydreigon to his next Flare Blitz, and hopefully he would go down to a combination of Recoil plus the Rocky Helmet that he just took. So that was the plan there, going out into Strumpful. But he actually goes out again into the Delibird, perhaps predicting me to do that, which if he did was really, really awesome. And now I don't like this matchup, so I go out into Apollyon, I go out into Nico, as he reveals that he's Ice Ball, which you may not know what that is. I didn't really know what it was. It took me a minute to be like, wait, Ice Ball, is that the one? Ice Ball basically functions like Rollout. Every turn it gets higher and higher damage, the more consecutive hits it gets. However, Delibird is Hustle, so each hit probably has like a 75% accuracy. And this man is running, like, I don't know what he said he was. If he said he was, like, Banded Ice Ball or, like, Scarf Ice Ball. I think he said he was Choice Band Ice Ball, but don't hold me to that. Which is wild. Like, if he pulled it off and he got, like, the luck of the rolls and got, like, 5 in a row or something, that would be devastating. But it's just such a funny set. It's amazing. We go into Nico here, and I'm aware that I'm probably going to see Wobbuffet come in and trap me. However, I just want to get my rocks up to start wearing things down. Nico doesn't look super important in this matchup, but rocks do. That Arcanine in particular is only on 16%, so Arcanine is dead now at this point, which is really nice. He does go into Wobbuffet and trap me, and I can just click Ice Beam. He Encores me, thinking he might be able to Encore me into Rocks or something else, I guess, but actually just Encores me into Ice Beam. The reason I click Ice Beam and not Scold is because I know I'm going to get it Mirror Coated back anyway. Scold's just going to kill me faster. I can, as we see here, actually get 3 hits off with the Ice Beam, which I didn't know I could. But the nice thing is, I could also fish for a freeze. It's a little bit cheeky, and I know it's playing the hacks game. I could have gone with Scold and got a burnt for residual damage. Maybe I would have got more damage long term from that. However, I just figured, well, we may as well fish for the freeze. Why not? Why not? We've run down this Wobbuffet anyway. So, Wobbuffet has now taken a lot of damage, which means we can go into Aquarius. And this is really nice, because this is the situation I want to be in. He knows he can't live a Dark Pulse, and maybe he can, but if he Mirror Coats me, he kills something that was on 22% and burnt anyway. It's not a huge loss. I get to put this Wobbuffet essentially down. So I get to click Dark Pulse, and he has to stay in and let the Wobbuffet go down, or he has to bring the Mawile in, which is not yet Mega Evolved, crucially, which means it is going to take big damage from Aquarius if he goes out into it. And I have Rocks up as well, which, okay, it's only like 6%, but it all adds up. And indeed, he does go out to Mawile. He takes the 5%, sorry, from Rocks. He gets the Intimidate, not that that matters. We just fire off a Dark Pulse in case he'd stayed in with Wobbuffet, and we do 40% there, which is super nice. He actually opts to Sucker Punch without Mega Evolving. I think his hope was that he could preserve his Intimidate for later on, but it doesn't kill, so we get to just KO him with an Earth Power, meaning Aquarius gets a kill here, which is awesome. That turn was kind of weird. As I said, I can only assume that he Sucker Punch so that he could switch in with an Intimidate later on, maybe set up on something like the Scolipede if he thought he could, or the Lopunny if he thought he could. After getting an Intimidate off, he could maybe SD and then Sucker Punch through by team, which was a really, really scary thing to think about in prep. So I was guessing that was kind of his thinking there. That's why he didn't want to Mega Evolve and he assumed Sucker Punch would kill. But because we were such a bulky Hydreigon set, we actually lived it. After the Chopal Berry resist on the Arcanine, it's not always clear how bulky you are when you have like a resist berry. He probably didn't bother to calc. So yeah, he probably didn't expect us to be quite so bulky on Hydreigon, but it worked out nicely for us. And we can go out into Pamela here, and he actually goes out into Delibird, which is really, really interesting. It's not a great momentum for him, so he has to go out into Quillfish, at which point I just click Fake Out and get some more damage, which is fine by me. I think I have a safe switch out into a Moongus here, and I can just fire off a Spore at this point, because he doesn't double back out into Delibird like he does this last time. He fires off the Pain Split. So I just fire off a Spore here. If Wobbuffet wants to come in and trap me, fine, he's going to sleep, and then I can Giga Drain him down. Wobbuffet does indeed come in trying to trap me, and I'm in a great position here. This Wobbuffet is essentially out of the game, which is his last thing to have any chance against Scolipede, and even then it didn't really. I would have to miss Megahorn. We foul play as the Arcanine comes in and just drops, trying to get damage on that Wobbuffet, or potential Zoroark switch in, I believe was the other thing I wanted damage on. And he reveals it has Flamethrower on the Delibird. No, wait, that must be Zoroark. So we fire off the Fake Out to guarantee that we outspeed this Zoroark, and we just drop it on its head there. Very, very nice. He brings out the Wobbuffet, and at this point he's asleep, so I think, okay, well, here's my opportunity. I'm going to sub up, see if I can get out into Scolipede and win the game. I maybe could have gone for game with Lopunny here and just fired off 3 returns, but I wanted to play it super safe. I didn't want to get caught with a counter from this Wobbuffet. So we sub and Baton Pass into the Scolipede. The Wobbuffet is still fast asleep, which is really, really nice. And here I just click SD. If he's packing the Encore, then that's good tech from him if he wakes up and clicks it, but I'm not too concerned either way. And he actually does have the Encore, so I'm now Encored into Sword Stance, which kind of sucks, but it's okay because I'm fairly sure that nothing he has is going to be able to take me out before the Encore fades at this point. Quillfish and Delibird are not offensive monsters. So we're actually just getting faster and faster with better and better attack. So here we are now at +6 attack. This is essentially a belly drummed Scolipede. He clicks Present here to try and break the sub, and it doesn't do enough damage. He couldn't rely on Ice Ball because of the mischance with it being Hustle. We just keep clicking SD, even though we're at max attack. There's no reason not to. Our sub does fade here, but our Encore is now over, and that's game. We're at +3 speed. There's no way he can catch us. So basically here he gets the Intimidate, which is pretty cool, but we can click Poison Jab into this thing. I think he chooses to switch out again to try and get another Intimidate and wear me down. But again, we just click Earthquake and something dies here more than likely. We're at +5 attack, which is crazy. Wobbuffet comes in and drops instantly. I think he goes out into Quillfish again here to try and get another Intimidate. And I believe he pivots back into Delibird with the last play here. But once again, no, he doesn't. He just stays in and lets it drop, which is fair enough. There was no way it would have made any difference. We'd have killed everything anyway. And as he goes out into Delibird, he takes Rocks damage, putting him down to 1%. Goes for the Ice Shard, which misses, unfortunately, because of that Hustle accuracy drop. And we're free to click Poison Jab for the game. Really tidy 4-0 win here. As I say, Scolipede just had an incredible matchup. Incredible matchup. This was the Pokemon I was most excited for. I'm sure I'm going to say that in my draft analysis video when I get around to recording it. So to get a sweep at the end here with Scolipede was super satisfying. As I say, watching it back, I realised I could have just stayed in with Lopunny potentially and just clicked return a few times. But nevertheless, we played to our win con and we got it. And Scolipede now 3 kills, putting it up the MVP rankings early on in the season. I'm very happy about that. GG to my man Kenneth. As ever, a brilliant game. I think it was Choice Band, Ice Ball, Hustle Boosted is crazy tech, but that's Kenneth. His offensive Arcanine was super cool and genuinely scared me. Wobbuffet I thought he used very well. We just prepped hard for it. And Mega Mawile he struggled with a little bit this week, but I'm sure he'll get the hang of that as the season goes on. So yeah, definitely GG to him. Such a fun game. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Week 1, first win for the Bowland Bovines with our new team name, with our new layout and everything else. Hopefully we can push on for the rest of this ABC season. We are in one hell of a stacked league these days. I'm just looking to go positive with our record. I don't know if we can make playoffs, quite frankly. It would be amazing if we did, but we have 11 other great coaches here, so I'm not so sure. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, thank you so much for loafing around with me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this battle, and I'll catch you again next time.